Hello and a warm welcome to Spectrum News at 2. I am Raymond Ater. We're coming to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital. Let's take a look at the headlines. INEC to resume collation of Nigeria's presidential National Assembly elections results from 2 p.m. NBC warns broadcast stations threaten sanctions. Plus, Zelensky says situation in Bakhmut is getting more challenging for Ukraine. We will bring you the details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. We begin this afternoon with an electoral update that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is set to resume collation of results for the 2023 presidential election at the International Conference Center in Abuja. INEC National Commissioner Festus Okoye explained that though results from 5 states are available, the Commission expects at least 10 more states to join the collation today. Recall that Okoye had announced at 12 noon that the collation will resume from 2 p.m. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has declared the Zamfara Central Senatorial polls and that of Gusau and the Shafe Federal Constituency as inconclusive. In his declaration, the INEC returning officer of Zamfara Central Senatorial District, Ahmad Galadima of the Federal University, Gusau, said the cancellation affected 74 polling units from 19 registration areas of Bungude, Gusau, and Shafe. Galadima said the total permanent voter cards collected were 43,881, which is greater than the margin lead of the 2 political parties with the highest votes. According to the returning officer, the PDP scored 93,120, which was followed by the APC, who got 79,444, with a lead margin of 13,676. Elsewhere, the collation officer appointed by the Independent National Electoral Commission for the presidential election in Rivers State, Charles Diaz, has suspended the collation of results over alleged threats to life. Diaz, who is also the Vice-Chancellor of the Federal University, Otueke in Bayelsa State, stated this at the resumption of collation at the INEC headquarters in Port Harcourt. According to him, the threats were from supporters of a particular political party yet to be known. Meanwhile, INEC has cancelled results of 74 polling units in 6 local government areas of Kogi State of a third-degree and failed bimodal voter accreditation system that characterized Saturday's presidential and National Assembly polls. The LGAs involved include Sokehi, Omala, Ulamaburo, Ofu, Yagba East, and Ibaji. Reports say the most affected local government is Okehi, where the state government had reportedly dug some of its roads a few days to the election to ward off criminal elements from gaining access to the area. Okehi Coalition Officer Dr. Emeka Oguju, while presenting the results to the State Coalition Officer Wahab Egbewale at the Kogi Collation Center, said results of 31 polling units were cancelled due to thuggery. In the meantime, the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has warned broadcasters covering the general elections to desist from allowing their platforms and facilities to be used for the broadcast of content that may lead to the breakdown of law and order in Nigeria. Director General of the NBC, Balarabe Ilela, gave the warning in a statement titled "Warning to Broadcast Stations" in Abuja. while reminding all broadcast stations that they have a duty to promote sustainable democracy in Nigeria. The Commission also warned that appropriate sanctions would be meted out to any airing station that operates outside the confines of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code. A stay with electoral matters, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress (APC), Bola Tinubu, has been declared the winner of Saturday's presidential election in Benue State. Tinubu polled 310,468 votes to outpace Peter Obi of the Labour Party, who scored 308,372 votes. Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party polled 130,081 votes to come third, while Rabiu Kwankwaso of the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) scored 4,740 votes. Meanwhile, the total number of registered voters in the state was 2,772,977, while the accredited voters were put at 840,189. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has defeated the candidates of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, and the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, in the presidential and National Assembly elections in Cross River State. The state collation officer, Professor Akbufore Rim-Kuke, announced the results at the Independent National Electoral Commission state headquarters in Calabar today. Peter Obi polled 179,917 to defeat Tinubu, who got 130,520 votes, while Atiku scored 95,425 votes. Elsewhere, two civic tech organizations, ProMed and Policy Shapers, have asked the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to publish the comprehensive report of the bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAS) across the country, alongside the results of the presidential polls. According to a joint statement signed by Daisy Omukugbe and Ebenezer Wikina, Saturday's presidential poll showed the promise of Nigeria's democracy becoming citizen-driven, participatory, and energetic. The organization said, having watched and read the reports of events in the election, it appears that INEC has not effectively lived up to its obligations and mandates to Nigerians as defined in its 2023 electoral guidelines and the 2022 Electoral Act. In Africa, French President Emmanuel Macron has unveiled his country's changing economic and military strategy in Africa as France's influence substantially declines on the continent. Reports say Macron is expected to call for a more balanced partnership with African nations in a speech at the LSE Presidential Palace before he begins an ambitious Africa trip on Wednesday to Gabon, Angola, and the Republic of Congo. Meanwhile, the LSE has stressed that Macron is visiting Gabon mostly to attend a major climate-related summit focusing on the preservation of forests. According to LSE, he will now seek to show France's attachment to improving economic and cultural relations with two French-speaking countries, the neighboring Republic of Congo and the DR Congo. Still in Africa, Algerian president has received former Malian rebels who had signed an important peace agreement in 2015 under the aegis of Algiers, who said they were seeking to break the impasse and the status quo in full access of tension with the authorities of Bamako. Algeria, which shares some 1,400 kilometers of borders with its southern neighbor, took an active part in the peace agreement signed in 2015 with the Independence Rebellion to end the war in Mali. Now, according to reports, the peace agreement, considered by some Malians, is seen as an essential component of a return to political and military stability in the immense country, destabilized by the outbreak of separatist and jihadist insurgencies in 2012. On the foreign scene, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the situation in the eastern city of Bakhmut is getting more challenging. Zelensky said Russia is constantly destroying everything that can be used to protect the country's positions, to secure and defend it. According to him, there were more than 300 attacks from various types of artillery and multiple rocket launchers on the area. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian commander said the situation in the eastern city was extremely difficult due to non-stop Russian assaults. Well, staying with Ukraine, Prime Minister DTH Channel says the country's budget deficit this year is expected to amount to $38 billion, but the U.S. is committing to provide more than $10 billion in budget support by September. Channel said a new platform has been introduced to help coordinate the work of the G7 countries and international financial organizations, including the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, with regards to financial support for Ukraine. He added that during his meeting with the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen in Kiev, they had discussed the financial and sanctions impact on the Russian budget, as well as continuation of effectiveness of sanctions on the supply of high-tech items to be used in the military sphere of Russia. Still to come in the news. Former Super Eagles coach got a role-size 3-year deal with Benin Football Association. So stay with us. Welcome back, and many thanks for staying tuned. On our business front, the total amount of currency in circulation in the country has reportedly dropped from 3.29 trillion naira as of the end of October 2022 to 1.38 trillion naira as of the end of January 2023 as a result of the naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN). According to the figures obtained from the CBN, it showed that the data represents a drop of 1.91 trillion naira in a 3-month period. Recall that the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, had in October 2022 announced plans to redesign the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes. Still in business, the adoption of mobile technology continues to grow in Nigeria, with the total number of mobile subscriptions hitting 225.88 million in January 2023. According to new industry data from the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), teledensity, the number of active telephones per 100 people living within an area, grew to 118.51%. In January, mobile subscriptions on MTN Nigeria grew to 91.95 million and 60.56 million on Airtel, 60.34 million on Globacom, and 13.03 million on 9Mobile. To health matters now, public health experts have called for more actions against air and noise pollution from generators, warning that they can increase stress, fuel other mental health issues, and also trigger chronic health problems like high blood pressure. The experts also warned that direct exposure to loud or persistent noise can equally lead to the hearing impairment, noting that children are more vulnerable to the adverse health effects of noise pollution. According to them, chronic exposure to fumes coming from generators for about 6 hours a day could cause respiratory diseases, stressing that if not properly managed, The fumes can even choke humans. Noted that soundproofing and using renewable energy can help reduce levels of noise generators. Still in health, President, Nigerian Cancer Society NCS, Dr. Adamu Umar, says by the end of 2023, about 102,000 Nigerians will have been diagnosed with cancer, hinting that the disease is hitting closer to more Nigerian homes and families than ever. Umar stated this in an interview with newsmen in Abuja, noting that it has become imperative to do more to close the care gap for cancer in Nigeria. The NCS president feared that no fewer than 40,000 of the 102,000 Nigerians would survive the disease. According to him, there were not just enough cancer care specialists or cancer care centers to handle the emergency. He stressed that the National Action on Sugar Reduction Coalition is calling for more policy action to close the care gap. Omar said that cancer incidence and mortality could be prevented if healthcare was free. The health of Nigerian citizens. As according to him, unless this happens, Nigerians will continue to record disproportionate cancer deaths. And now in sports, former Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr has signed a 3-year deal with Benin Football Association. Rohr takes over from Moussa Latunjiji, who had been the team's caretaker coach since the Frenchman Michel Deschamps was sacked after the Squirrels failed to qualify for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations and the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Meanwhile, Benin Republic becomes the 5th African team the Franco-German will coach after Gabon, Niger, Burkina Faso and Nigeria. He has recorded 35 wins and 16 draws in 64 games while on the Nigerian technical bench for 5 years before he was sacked in December 2021. Still in sports, Lionel Messi won the Best FIFA Men's Player Prize for 2022 on the back of his World Cup triumph with Argentina, and Spain's Alexia Putellas retained the Women's Award at a ceremony in Paris. Messi beat his Paris Saint-Germain teammate and World Cup final rival Kylian Mbappe to the men's gong, with Ballon d'Or winner Karim Benzema the other contender to claim the prize. It's the second time that Messi has won the honor, inaugurated by FIFA in 2016, after football's world governing body split from Ballon d'Or organizers France Football. The award, which is voted for by the national team coaches and captains, journalists and also fans, recognizes a year in which the former Barcelona star crowned his glorious career at the World Cup. Messi scored twice in an epic final in Doha as Argentina beat France on penalties, despite Mbappe netting a hat-trick for Les Bleus in a remarkable 3-3 draw. The 35-year-old, a 7-time Ballon d'Or winner, succeeds Robert Lewandowski on the FIFA honours list, while Putellas retained the women's prize despite spending the second half of last year out injured. To entertainment now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has warned people to buckle up as he signed a bill giving the state's control over Disney's sprawling Orlando theme parks. The bill strips power uniquely held by Disney for over 50 years and enables more oversight by DeSantis' Republican-led legislature. The move is seen as retaliation after Disney opposed state laws curtailing gender and sexuality education. Still on entertainment, Nollywood stars Adeniyi Johnson and Seyi Edun, who have been married for 7 years, have welcomed a set of twins. The couple announced the news via Instagram after praying to God for a child for 7 years following their wedding. Meanwhile, congratulatory messages are currently pouring in for the couple from fans, well-wishers and industry colleagues. The couple started dating in 2016 and got married officially in 2018. And that's all we have for you at this time. Many thanks indeed for joining us. Don't forget, you can always follow us on all of our social media platforms. And do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website. Just search spectrumtv.ng. A regular broadcasting continues right after this as we head to the nation's capital, Abuja, precisely the National Coalition Center, where the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is set to reconvene the formal continuation of the collation exercise of the 2023 Presidential and National Assembly polls. But do well to stay with us. You've been watching the news at 2. I'm Raymond Ita. Enjoy the rest of your day.